Hello, everyone. I hope you are all in good health and spirits. Thank you for allowing me to participate in this prestigious seminar. The problem that I seek to address in this speech is the increasing utilization of the cyberspace by terrorist groups and other criminal and subversive actors to conduct propaganda and disinformation, raise funds, recruit followers and members, and plan attacks in democratic states. And I specifically used the case study in Indonesia. And so the main question here is how government's responses to the presence of online violent extremism present a dilemma between providing security and safety, specifically in cyberspace, but also at the same time, the responses to online violent extremism has been eroding civil freedom that the country has fought for in the last 20 plus years of its history. And at the same time, also uh, providing citizens with health services in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. Um, so at the moment, there are worldwide, there are 331 online channels engaged in the distribution of militant Islamist propaganda. They included 99 standalone web pages, 30 social media and microblog accounts, 152 file sharing services, and 50 other means of communications. The Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, and the Taliban are keeping up their presence in the cyberspace, conducting propaganda, radicalization, recruitment, and fundraising, as well as planning for attacks when possible. This is still excluding terrorist organizations of different ideologies, such as the leftists and ultranationalist organizations. These violent extremist organizations are utilizing the ungoverned spaces in the digital realm. The ungoverned spaces of in the digital realm are usually present in democratic societies. The presence of violent extremist organizations, or VEO, in the cyberspace is a grave challenge for democracies because democracies need to maintain freedom of expression as well as the security of cyberspace from being exploited by terrorist organizations. Their actions in providing security in cyberspace might erode the freedom of expression that they are fighting for. So I would like to explore what are the policies that are available for democratic states in countering violent extremist organization online. They are called online CVE strategies, or online counter-violent extremism strategies. So the first choice is the counter narrative, or narrative persuasive strategies. We also call this positive response strategy, and this is the most popular response of democratic states. It aims to saturate the online realm with narratives that delegitimize the use of violent extremism, delegitimize certain terrorist groups, or provide alternative narratives that distance readers from the choice of using violence, and at a certain level invite internet users to think critically against online content that agitates internet users to invite resistance and violence for political purposes. The counter-narrative strategy, or providing alternative narrative, is the main choice of democratic states because it is based on the principle of allowing for freedom of expression, including expression of ideas that can be extremist in its nature, to be expressed in society, and responding to them by organizing a marketplace of ideas that will facilitate the emergence of rational narratives, which maintain a democratic identity to emerge and correct the wrong ideas or the extremist ideas. The second online CVE strategy is a disruptive strategy. As the name suggests, the aims of this strategy is to destroy the digital infrastructure that facilitates the propaganda and communication of violent extremism. Disruptive CVE strategies comprise of actions that are aimed at destroying the technical capacity of violent extremist actors to communicate and propagate their narratives and recruit others. In practice, online disruptive CVE strategies can take the form of kinetic action against digital infrastructure, or arresting the online managers of violent extremist organizations, or block access of violent extremist managers from accessing platforms for communications and propaganda. So the main manifestation of this strategy is usually a blocking of websites that communicate the ideology of violent extremism. But other manifestations of this strategy are destruction of physical facilities that facilitate various modes of digital communication and propaganda, and the arrest of their operators. The third approach is also popular among democracies, and it is an intelligent approach or intelligence gathering strategies. The goal here is to systematically collect information on violent extremism in cyberspace as evidence and intelligence for law enforcement purposes. So it is not intended to influence the digital narrative or of violent extremism or provide digital literacy or to block violent extremism modes of communication and propaganda or arrest its operators. The intelligence strategy aims to track digital traces of operators and participants of digital violent extremism, especially those active in chat room applications. So this is what is also called digital footprint tracking. It is useful for mapping terrorist actors and facilitate their arrests when needed. So the purpose of intelligence strategy in online CVE has the opposite goal from the two previous strategies, because this strategy actually requires the continuity of online violent extremism operations for the purpose of tracking violent extremism. So in Indonesia, online CVE strategy is being conducted by the Ministry of Communication, but also by the National Counterterrorism Agency. And this is where my finding is located. The approach undertaken by Ministry of Communication and Informatics in blocking access to websites or social media accounts that are identified as vehicles for dissemination of terrorism propaganda may not always be harmonious with the strategies conducted by other agencies, including National Counterterrorism Agency and other agencies, such as the police and intelligence agencies and also the military. The main findings, what I have suggested, what I have found so far is an answer to the question of how successful has the Indonesian government tackled online violent extremism. And I found that the Indonesian government faces challenges that are not unique in themselves. The challenges faced by the Indonesian government in implementing its online CVE strategy provide an illustration of why the success of online CVE in democracies has been so limited. First, the website blocking policy has shown that websites that have been blocked can be accessed again, and other platforms can provide communication and propaganda access for violent extremist organization. When blocked from accessing cyberspace, one can reestablish that access in various other ways. As such, violent extremist website managers can easily recreate their websites. Secondly, democratic states are bound by principles of freedom of speech. Democracies respond to online violent extremism in social media by deleting accounts, blocking Telegram channels, or designing rules that force law enforcement to tap into the communication of particular subjects or channels. All of these are practices that might raise controversies in democratic states. The third explanation for the failure of online CVEs, the jurisdictions overlap in the realm of the internet. Interpretations of what constitutes terrorism content may differ due to different procedures, political systems, and culture of the CVE organizers. One country may block websites containing violent extremism, but that website actually is operated by a server located in another country that does not define the content as violent extremism or does not consider that illegal. So the website can still be operating. The fourth explanation for the failure of the censorship mechanism against violent extremism is that information censored by the government actually adds value to the public perceptions and results in increased interest from the online community in proliferating censored media. So instead of eliminating the media from circulation, this viral effect actually perpetuates it in social media. But finally, the cause of failure of online CVE in democratic state is due to the absence of synergy between different purposes of online CVE, particularly between intelligence gathering for security and legal purposes, and stopping or blocking violent extremist contents. As violent extremist contents are removed, the ability of intelligence community to monitor and investigate the propagandists and their followers in detail will be curtailed. Every post shared or released on social networks, either in the form of text file, videos, or images, constitute an evidentiary item that enables the law enforcement to learn about the details behind online VE operation and the whereabouts of their members. So removal of propaganda or communication of online VE may also curtail the criminal prosecution of the VE group. In final conclusion, it is an illusion that content control over the internet can alone effectively respond to online violent extremism. While it is important to remove the production of violent extremist propaganda and communication channels from mainstream communication channels, it should be preceded by analyses of militant Islamist communication networks with digital forensics to reveal the operators of the online violent extremist platforms. This will help hopefully lead to their arrests and or elimination. If this is not possible, then at least cyber operations should be conducted to take down the electronic assets of the violent extremist groups. It is towards this purpose that international cooperation and curbing the presence of online violent extremism should be directed. Capacity building for weaker states to maintain a safe and secure, productive digital environment for all of their citizens. Herewith, I close my speech. Thank you very much for the opportunity.